This is Feed Your Mind, and in today's video we're going to discuss the mysteries of Saturn revealed. And so Saturn is what some people call a planet. Now, what a planet actually is has been compromised because we've been fed information where most of the general public thinks a planet is a solid object. But Saturn is another one of those planets that even the scientists admit is not a solid object, along with Jupiter and I believe Neptune and a few others. So with Saturn is an object in the sky. Scientists admit that this object is not a solid object. They're calling it a gas giant, which is what they call a few other planets, like I said. So most people have in their minds that you can just land on planets, and since Earth is a planet, they're saying the planets are in the sky, it's all the same thing. Well, is Earth a gas giant? No, I don't think so. So the association that planets are something that you can land on is falling apart for the scientific community by their own admission. So it's interesting that Saturday is based off of Saturn. It's an act of worship. Even Saturday is supposed to be the Sabbath, but instead it's based off of a Saturn type worship, almost similar to what the Romans were worshiping, because they were worshiping a holiday that was called Saturnalia. And this was a festival in December that sounds a lot like Christmas, because they say there was a lot of gift giving and other things going on during this worship of Saturn. But that's not all, because to the Romans, Saturn was also a god. Now, according to my research, it's not even clear if they knew Saturn was an object in the sky at the time. Around the time of Copernicus, I know is for sure when they discovered at least, I believe it was like 5 planets by then. But I think during the time of Rome, where they were worshiping Saturn as a god, I don't think they realized too much about planets at the time. But it's possible. But I know for sure that the Romans were worshiping a god that was named Saturn, and it didn't seem to be associated with any type of planet. And it's pretty creepy when you start looking into this Saturn that they were worshiping, because they're saying that Saturn was the god of time. It almost sounds like Kronos, which was another god they worshipped. Or it could have been one and the same, possibly. But this Saturn god was the god of time, wealth, and he had a few other attributes that they worshipped him for. And so it's interesting when you look into the Saturn god that they worship, because they say Saturn fathered other gods, which these gods were named Jupiter and Neptune and Pluto and a few others. And so these gods that they worshipped are pretty much in order of where they are positioned as far as what the scientists are saying and naming them, because Saturn is the second largest planet according to science, and the first and the larger planet is Jupiter. So that's interesting, and they're both said to be what scientists are calling gas giants. And then Neptune and Pluto, like I said, we'll have to look more into those planets, but I believe those are gas giants as well. So none of these planets are solid objects, and they are worshipped and all together in a bunch, like they're right next to each other, and they're they were being worshipped as gods, and the coincidence is pretty strange. Now, another strange thing about Saturn is that some people are saying that, they're saying that there's a hexagon on the top of Saturn. And Saturn is also known for a ring around it. Now, some are saying this ring is not solid. Others are saying it's ice. So it seems like they have to get their story straight on that. Also, with that hexagon, it's interesting because that's an interesting shape that they're calling a storm. So what type of storm is shaped like a hexagon? Most storms that we see are shaped in a circular motion. Like when we see hurricanes and stuff, we don't see hexagons. So for them to consider the hexagon on the top of Saturn as a storm is pretty bizarre. Plus, when I looked into this hexagon, I'm not even sure if there really is a hexagon up there because, well, most of the amateur photos I have seen, it would be pretty impossible to see the top of Saturn. In fact, they're saying that the way this hexagon was discovered was by the Voyager spacecraft. So they're saying the space probe was when they first realized there was a hexagon on top of Saturn. And so that right there dismisses the evidence, because how are they communicating with this ancient Voyager that is so far away? How is it sending signals back and forth? That just doesn't really add up to me. Plus, there doesn't seem to be any real amateur evidence of this hexagon. So all the evidence seems to be coming from the space agencies, and we can't really trust them. So why did they even go out of their way to say there was a hexagon on the top of Saturn? And so a hexagon, they're saying, is some type of shape that has 6 sides. I think it might even be used in some type of magic rituals. Scientists also insist there's some type of aurora on top of Saturn as well. And I think they're saying there's a storm at the bottom of Saturn, and that one's more of a circular shape, as it should be. But the scientists are claiming that they were able to recreate a hexagon type shape in nature by using water and jet streams at different speeds. So I'm going to pretty much dismiss any evidence so far that there's a hexagon on top of Saturn. I believe that it's some type of ritual. Why they would even say that, to put in the minds of people that there's a hexagon on top of this so-called planet, I think is just some type of ritualistic magic or something, or some type of honor to their pagan god that they are worshiping. So this is more proof that the scientist community is an occult community that is claiming to be full of science. But if they're so full of science, why are they naming planets after pagan gods is the question. And this is just one planet that we're covering in detail. There's many others, and pretty much every one, I believe, is named after a pagan god. We might cover some of the other planets in another video. And one last thing about Saturn, an interesting thing that the scientists are claiming is that they're saying that Saturn rains diamonds. It's pretty bizarre that they would say that. It's interesting though, because we covered in my gold video how we covered how the fallen one, Satan, was described as being full of jewels, and some of you didn't know that was actually in the Bible, but I'll have to get the scripture again. I did have it in some of my previous videos where I found scriptures where they were describing the fallen one. Well, when he was in heaven, they were describing him as being full of diamonds and jewels and stuff like that. So it's interesting that they're claiming that gold comes from stars, and now they're saying diamonds, well, it rains diamonds in Saturn. So I don't know if there's any clues here. Why are they saying all these precious metals are coming from the heavens? Is there anything to that? So look, if there's anything you want to brainstorm on about this subject, please leave a comment in the comment section, and we'll brainstorm on anything that we covered in this video. I'm gonna leave some links for you all. There's gonna be links for my free email newsletters. I'm also gonna leave links for my social media and my other channels, plus much more. If you would like to support this channel and help me get much more documentary style videos out with lots of visuals and well edited and well presented, you can donate as little as $1, and that will help me get much more of those types of videos out. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.